It is wonderful to be with you here today. Let me just get rid of these things. Okay. Are we ready to rock and roll? Let me just give me 2 secs. Yep, we are good, baby. Sound is good. We are good. Hello and welcome to today's Tap and Talk. Today we are talking about the wealth formula. So this is after so many studies on the law of attraction and wealth creation and business principles and entrepreneurship and all the things, all the body of work that I have been studying and laboring over for so many years now, and working with other clients and coaching clients and putting together principles and packages, all that stuff, all rolled into my understanding of the wealth formula and why wealth continues to elude so many people. It's not your fault. There's an entire industry out there that was built on the law of attraction. There are also industries built on entrepreneurship, on business, on coaching, on all the trainings and the education and all those things, and they're all valid. What I have realized over my journey of discovery and learning and implementing and things failing and some things working and all of that stuff, it's a roller coaster. I've come to realize that there is no one size fits all. And that wealth is a process. Building wealth is a process. And a lot of the teachings and trainings out there, they're good, but they're not necessarily complete, because wealth, while it is the principles, the basic principles are simple, it's not easy to implement those principles and actually implement them at scale. Okay. So if you're missing pieces, then the whole thing isn't going to work. So if you've been struggling and floundering, then it's not your fault. There's just something that you don't know. And that reminds me of a story that T. Harv Eker tells about when I think he'd failed at like 11 businesses in 10 years and he was feeling pretty down about it. He was a young lad at that point. And he was talking to a friend of his father's, and the friend of his father's, just who was very successful himself, just looked at him and said, Harv, if you haven't figured it out yet, then there's just something that you don't know. And that is one of his basic principles. And now he's gone on to build one of the biggest personal development empires on the planet. And he's educated hundreds of thousands of people in his own principles. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to break down for you what those principles are. I'm also going to do some tapping with you on clearing out those blocks that are stopping you from receiving money, from receiving wealth, because the law of attraction is a big part of this. Now, in order to clear these blocks and limiting beliefs and the stories and the fears and the doubts, what do we use? We use tapping, of course. So tap along with me as I go through this framework that I have written out for you. And what we're going to do is work through this step by step. So if you want to have a pen and a piece of paper to write down some of the key takeaways that you can then go and implement, because knowledge, they say, is power, but it's not power until you actually do something with it. So dormant knowledge is impotent, doesn't do anything. It just fills your brain up. Whereas when you implement that knowledge, then it becomes powerful. So that's what I invite you to do today. Take away the key things that really resonate with you, that really hit you, because I'm going to share a lot. I always do. And just act on those things. Okay, that is the only thing you need to do, is just act on the things that really resonate with you and land for you today. Do we have a deal? I hope so. And if you have any questions and you want to give me any feedback, then don't hesitate. The chat is there. One of the biggest things that I would benefit from, and you would ultimately benefit from, is feedback. If you give me feedback and ask me questions and tell me what you need, then I can shape these future sessions to actually be exactly what you need when you need it. Deal? Cool. All right. So, the wealth formula. Building wealth, as I said, is a process. So, where do you start? Well, you start at the beginning. You start with your wealth consciousness. So, if you do not have a wealth, abundance, and prosperity consciousness, then building wealth is basically dead in the water. It ain't going anywhere. And the vast majority of people are wandering around plagued with a lack and scarcity consciousness. And you cannot build wealth with a lack and scarcity consciousness. And it depends on which consciousness is dominant. So we all have fears, doubts, and limiting beliefs. We all have stuff about money. Well, almost all, 99.99% of us have some stuff about money. And it depends on which consciousness is dominant. It's the same as you've got a good wolf and a bad wolf. Which wolf wins? Whichever one you feed, right? So if you're not getting the results that you want, then the foundational piece is your wealth consciousness. So this is doing the discovery work, doing the tapping, doing the personal development, and not doing it in isolation, doing it simultaneously with taking the action you need to take to build the infrastructure and the formula, put the formula together for you, your unique wealth formula, that's going to actually help you to build that wealth and make it reliable. So you have a reliable formula that is consistent and consistently brings in income. Cash flow is king. Does that mean that you're never going to have challenges? Does that mean that the cash flow is not going to ebb and flow, and sometimes it'll be up and sometimes it'll be down, and sometimes, it'll be too far down that it's giving you heart palpitations, and other times it'll be like flowing like Mount Vesuvius? And I'm not sure if that was an appropriate analogy, but you get my point. It's an ebb and flow. Don't get caught up in the emotion of that. Don't get, when all of a sudden the money flows to a trickle, don't freak out. Just go, okay, well, there's clearly a constraint in my money flow. Where is that constraint? What is the problem I need to solve? This is the thing every single successful entrepreneur and business person is solving problems. Sorry, this is the thing that every single business person and entrepreneur does, is solve problems. That is one of their key skill sets. And why do I always talk about business and entrepreneurship? Because it is the time-tested and proven way to build a reliable source of income, to build wealth and prosperity and abundance, not just for you, but for future generations. It is the most reliable way that you get to make a difference in the world and live life on your terms at the same time. It's a win-win. That's why I'm passionate about this. That's why I encourage you to do it. So, wealth consciousness is the foundation of everything. That's number one. Number two, know thyself. Socrates. So this is knowing who you are, your strengths, your weaknesses, your gifts, your superpowers, your core genius, your unconscious competence, the skills, the knowledge, the expertise, the experience that you have accumulated throughout your life that has contributed to you becoming who you are. And there's a very important reason for that, because you're going to apply all of this to your unique wealth formula, to your wealth building strategy. So when you know yourself and when you can identify your strengths and your weaknesses, then you double down on your strengths, you leverage your strengths, and you compensate for your weaknesses, or you bring people in to compensate for your weaknesses. But you find ways to that your weaknesses aren't points of constraint within your wealth building project, initiative, whatever you want to call it. Okay. So know thyself. Number three is similar, but different. Remember who you are. So you are a spirit. Let me start that again. Remember who you are. You are spirit having a human experience. You are an infinite being with infinite potential and infinite power, actually creating your life moment by moment by moment. You are, as Abraham Hicks says, on the leading edge of creation. You are literally creating your life because where your focus goes, energy flows. And tomorrow is promised, but it is only in the birthing canal right now. Tomorrow is only in the birthing canal. How that birthing happens and what you actually birth is up to you today. Because today is yesterday's news. Today is the result of the thoughts, of the beliefs, of the actions that you took yesterday and the day before and the day before and the day before that. Whereas tomorrow, it's still waiting to be seen what that brings. And you can change tomorrow right now. How do you do that? You change this. You change your focus, you change your attitude, you change your mindset, you change your beliefs, you change the actions that you take. And it is your focus that brings reality into your experience. Because all of this, remember, is a holographic projection. It's all an illusion. It's all theater. It's all the matrix. It is your focus and the power of your subconscious that brings your experience into reality. And you predominantly, whatever you predominantly focus on, that is what you will get. So you change your focus today, you will change what you get tomorrow. Now, that's not to say that if you sit down and meditate on being a billionaire all day today, that you are automatically going to be a billionaire tomorrow. Is anything possible? Yes. I've never seen that happen yet, but it's possible. But I prefer to look at more realistic frameworks and infrastructure to be able to guarantee that your tomorrow is better than today. How does that sound? If we just focus on tomorrow being better than today, on you being better tomorrow than you are today. Not to say that there's anything wrong with you today, just to say that improving on yourself is a step in the right direction toward creating the future that you desire. Sounds reasonable, doesn't it? Okay, so number 3, remember who you are. Remember that you are an extension of source, that you are connected to God's spirit, the almighty divine, the universe, whatever it is that you want to call it. You are fully connected to that. And you create through the power of that connection. And once you understand that you are a limitless being with limitless potential, that anything is possible, that's the place you want to start creating from. So, step number 3, remember who you are. All right, so step number 4, clarity. Clarity on your vision, your mission, your purpose. What's important to you? What is your why? And this needs to be bigger than you. So this is something that will inspire you, will light you up. You can't rely on motivation because motivation comes and goes. It's not something that's constant. But what if you knew what your life's work is? What if you really understood that at a heart level, at a soul level? What is your soul work? And you just got up every single day and you focused on your soul work for the day that contributes to your ultimate contribution to the planet. Now, this is a great segue into step number 5. So once you've got clarity on your vision, your mission, your purpose, and don't get stuck there, by the way. I know people turn this into I don't know what my purpose is, they freak out. Don't get stuck there. Just set the intention, because your intention is the foundation of all of your results. Set the intention to discover what your vision, your mission, your purpose is, and think about it, but don't get stuck there. So next, think about providing value to a group of people. Now, this is where the wealth building, the practical side of wealth building starts. So, having identified your strengths, your weaknesses, your core values, your unconscious competence, your superpowers, your gifts, the knowledge, the expertise, the experience that you have acquired and accumulated over the years, having recognized that, how do you then package that up and deliver value to a group of people? Because money and the accumulation of money is done via a value exchange. So the entire self-created millionaire billionaire, the entire premise is that you are valuable to people. You are valuable enough that they give you their money. This is how this thing works. Every single successful self-made millionaire, billionaire, trillionaire has built their empires, their wealth on this premise. Provide value to somebody, that person gives them money. Now, if the more wealthy you want to be, either the more valuable you need to be to a small group of people, or the more people you need to provide your value to. It's either a numbers game or a level of value game. So either a certain handful of people are paying you tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars, or a lot of people are paying you a smaller amount of money to amplify and exponentially increase that the worth that you are providing for the number of people in the world. Okay. So, and do not underestimate your value. Do not, at this point, underestimate your value. You are so incredibly valuable. So incredibly valuable. And you have so much value to bring to the world. And you must be open to receive the value in exchange. You are not a charity. And it's important to recognize this is, sorry, pardon me. Sorry, the one morning I didn't have a glass of water. So where was I? I might have to go and get some water in a minute. Sorry, my mouth's really dry. Throat's really dry. Okay, so providing value to a group of people. Recognize that you are incredibly valuable, that you have gifts and talents, that you can create so much value in the world. And then it's identifying it and then being able to package it up in a way that people will give you their money in exchange. And it's not only being able to package it up, it's then being able to articulate your message, articulate the value that you offer, why people need to invest. So, this, as I said, is the whole formula. It is the package. And you don't have to do this alone, and you don't need to do it all at once. In fact, you can't do it all at once. Do it step by step by step by step. Okay. So, identify and recognize where you're at right now. Start where you're at, use what you have, do what you can, and just start. Do the next most logical thing in this whole equation, this whole process. So I can give you the formula. You need to identify where you're at within that framework and then start there and then take the next most logical step. Okay? So don't underestimate your value or your worth or what you have to offer, because you are infinitely powerful and you are infinitely valuable. You are priceless. What you have to offer the world is priceless. Maybe you don't know what that looks like yet, and that's okay. Just start there, figuring out what you have to offer the world that is of value to people so they give you their money in exchange. Okay? So put together a plan. Step number 6, put together a plan. Failing to plan is planning to fail. That isn't rocket science. And it doesn't have to be some really elaborate, 78-page dossier. You just need to know where you're at right now, where you're going, and what is the next most logical step along the way. You'll figure it out. Trust. Trust that you will figure it out. I forgot to keep tapping. Trust that you will figure it out because you can. You can figure out anything. As I said in the beginning, one of the most valuable and important skill sets of any entrepreneur is the ability to solve problems. So, identify the problems that you solve for other people and start solving your problems for yourself. And once you've identified a problem, you know there's a solution because there is no problem without a solution, period. That's not the way this existence works. So put together a plan. Don't overcomplicate it. Keep it simple. And build a system and infrastructure where you can continue to grow and expand whatever value it is that you're giving to the world, that you're providing, not giving, but providing in a value exchange arrangement. So you can then amplify your ability to grow and scale through systems, through infrastructure, through leverage, through automation. And again, this will arrive when it arrives. But start with the end in mind. Start with the intention to build something that has no limits on its potential. So, say for instance, you are a massage therapist, and all you do in the value exchange is give massages. That is an incredibly limited equation because you can only give as many massages as you are physically capable of and the hours allow you to. And you can only charge so much. If you're at the higher end, okay, so you're at the higher end, but you can't keep escalating your prices. You'll escalate yourself out of a business. Like, I don't know anybody who pays $1 million for a massage therapist. Maybe I'm not talking to the right people, but do you know what I mean? So it's how valuable you are. And then it's having ways that you can leverage, automate, and amplify your ability to provide value to more and more and more people where you're not necessary in the process and the equation. It doesn't mean that you're not involved, but you're not essential ultimately in the end. Now, this is obviously as you progress. This isn't the beginning phase of building any business. But start with the end in mind, knowing that this is where you're going, that ultimately you're going to implement that kind of automation that's going to make you a lot less important to the process and the ultimate build of the business or venture. Okay, so number 8 is optimize your environment. Now, there's multiple different environments, and some of the most important environments are your immediate physical environment. So, what do you have around you? Is your environment cluttered? And do you feel inspired in your environment? Or do you feel constricted in your environment? Is your environment expansive or is it contracting? Okay. So, what you put in your environment should actually represent your core values, who you truly are. And you should feel good, inspired, expansive in that environment. Your people environment, the people that you surround yourself, incredibly important to being able to maintain the same kind of level of commitment and optimism and the engagement and the momentum, all of it will come back to the people that you have around you. And this is maybe in your immediate environment, also in the people that you listen to and watch online and the kind of content that you consume. So that's another part of your environment is what are you reading? What are you watching? What are you listening to? Is it expansive? Is it supporting your strength of mind and building an unstoppable mindset? Is it inspiring you, uplifting you, or is it devolving you? Is it evolving you or devolving you? Okay. So, and this is about everything in your environment. Your health environment, what you put in your body matters. Getting out, grounding, exercising, being out in the sunshine, it's all incredibly important to your health. Your mindset environment. All of these things are really, really valuable and actually critical and imperative to you achieving your great big vision, your great big goal. So identify the environments that are the most impactful to you and make sure you are optimizing them to the best of your ability. It's all anybody can ask, is just to the best of your ability. Now, step number 9 is continuing your personal growth and expansion, because that will fuel the growth and expansion of your business or the value that you are providing to the world. So if you are stagnant, the business will be stagnant, and then the value that you get in, the money and the wealth that you get in, will be stagnant. It can't be any other way. That is the way this works. So ensure that you are addressing your mindset, that you are building an unstoppable mindset, that you are working constantly on your traits and characteristics, and you are expanding into a better version of you in whatever way that you like to do that. This is a journey. Wealth creation is a journey. It's not static. It's not a one and done. It's not, I'll implement this and I get that and that's it. It's over. This is a process. It's a formula. It's an evolution. It's a build. It's a creation, and it's constant. So commit yourself to the process, to the evolution, to the ongoing expansion of you. And this is a journey. It's not about the destination. Once you have the right focus and what you're focused on, if it feels like the journey is more important than the destination, you are on target. You are on mission. You have found your purpose, because you will wake up each and every day feeling inspired and excited to continue the journey. So fall in love with the journey. Fall in love with everything that the journey holds. The failing, the setbacks, the disappointments, the wins, the achievements, all of them, the big, the small, all of them. Fall in love with all of it, because your expectations will either make you or break you. Because too many people have these expectations that they're just going to sit and meditate and all the money's going to land in their lap, and then it doesn't happen. And what happens to their frequency and vibration? You know that your wealth consciousness is all about energy, frequency, and vibration. This life is all about energy, frequency, and vibration. It is energy, frequency, and vibration. Everything is energy, frequency, and vibration. So if you get disappointed, what happens to your energy, frequency, and vibration? And how does the world respond to that? Remember, you are a transmission station. You are constantly transmitting in accordance with your frequency. So if you have a dominant message that is being sent out to the universe, I suck, I'm hopeless, I'm no good at this, I'm never going to be wealthy, but you're peddling like crazy going, I'm going to be wealthy, I'm going to be wealthy, I'm going to be wealthy. But the subconscious is the dominant force. And that's what's dominant, the negative stuff. Guess what gets sent out to the source and the universe? The dominant signal goes out. And if you have conflicting signals, then the signal is scrambled. And the universe isn't able to interpret a clear signal. This is why the personal development, the ongoing personal development, is important and imperative. Constantly work on yourself. And the final one, number 10, is relax, allow, lean in, let go. Have faith in the unfolding. Have faith that it's all going to work out. Have faith and trust in your ability to solve any problem, to create anything you put your mind to. Know that life is happening not to you, but through you. So everything that happens is an essential part of your journey. How do I know that? Because it just is. And if you keep fighting what is, then you're just fighting reality and you're just wasting your energy. So accept what is. Byron Katie, some of her work is some of the most profound and impactful work. So fall in love with what is, even if it sucks. Love it anyway. Go, okay, how do I bring a better version of me to this? So I use this as my launch. So I use this as a way to become a better version of me. So I grow and expand as a consequence of this shit show that I'm experiencing right now. Because you'll go through some shit shows, man. Love it up. Just love it up. Suck it up and love it up. So relax, allow, lean in, let go, and have faith and trust that life is happening for you and through you, not to you. It's all perfect. Trust that it is all perfect. So wealth will arrive as a result of your habits that you consciously and deliberately develop and cultivate. Think about that. Money responds to congruence. Okay? So the more congruent you are in your relationship with money, which is your wealth consciousness, then the more you will be inspired to take the right action, to have the right conversations, to take the right courses, to implement the right strategies. It's all this melting pot. You are like this melting pot of potential. What do you want to do with that potential? How are you going to amplify that potential that you are a beacon in the world for others to take advantage of the value that you offer? So I hope you're able to identify where you're at and that you already have some ideas that you are going to implement. I want you, before we wrap it up today, I'm going to do a quick tapping to release your negative beliefs around money and get into money flows. We're going to do a quick tapping on that. But before I do that, I want you to think about 2 or 3 things that you can do right now, today. Maybe it's research. Maybe it's a phone call you've been meaning to make. Maybe it's a contact. Maybe there's a course. But something that you can identify that will just help you to make progress. That's all you're aiming for right now is progress. Maybe it's exploring ideas. Maybe it's identifying your what's blocking your wealth consciousness. Maybe it's understanding who you are, what your gifts, your superpowers are. Just start something. Identify the next most logical step and just do it. So right now, identify 2 or 3 things that you can do today just to make progress. Not to build $1 million empire by tomorrow, just to make progress. Just to start the journey or keep the journey going. I'll give you a second, and then we're going to do some targeted tapping. If you have any questions, remember to write them in the chat. Actually, while you're doing that, I'm going to tell you about, there is a link in the description below to a free wealth breakthrough coaching experience that I'm doing at the end of this week. So all you need to do is sign up, jump on the call with me live, and I'll be coaching people live on the call through their money mindset, through their blocks, their fears, their doubts. We can even talk about business strategy, formula, all of it. It's on the table, okay? So if you've ever sort of wondered about coaching or wondered about coaching with me, this is your chance to experience that for free. And that's happening this Friday. So as I said, the link is in the description below. You can go and sign up for free. I hope to see you there. So now that that's out of the way, let's do some targeted tapping on letting money flow. Okay. So Just start by tapping on the side of the hand and repeat after me. Even though I have these blocks and limiting beliefs around money that are stopping me from building wealth, I deeply and completely love and accept all of me. Even though I've been blocking the money flow with this resistance that has plagued me for so long, I deeply and completely love and accept all of me right now. Even though I've got these fears, doubts, blocks, and limiting beliefs that are stopping me from receiving money and being in the flow of money, I deeply and completely love and accept who I am and how I feel right now. Okay, tapping through the points, starting with the inside of the eye, and repeat after me. I choose to be ready to release all the blocking belief systems that are stopping me from being in the flow of money. I choose to be ready to release all the limiting beliefs, fears, and doubts that are stopping me from being in the flow of money. I choose to be ready to release all the stories, fears, limiting beliefs that are stopping me from receiving money in abundance. I choose to be ready to release all blocking beliefs, fears, and doubts that are stuck in my subconscious that are stopping me from receiving money in abundance and being in the infinite flow of money. I'm ready to release all these money blocks. I'm ready to release everything that's stopping me from being in the flow of money. I destroy, uncreate, and delete all my money blocks. Even if I don't know what they are, I choose to destroy, uncreate, and delete everything that's stopping me from being in the flow of money. I destroy, uncreate, and delete these money blocks. I destroy, uncreate, and delete these limiting beliefs about money. I'm ready to be in the flow of money. I choose to get into the money flow. I choose to be in the money flow. I'm ready to be in the money flow. I'm ready to receive money in abundance. I'm ready to take the action I need to take to receive money in abundance. I choose to be in the flow of money. I choose to receive money in abundance. I choose to let the money flow. I choose to let the money flow. I love that the money is flowing toward me now. I love that the money is flowing into my bank account now. I love that I'm taking the action to receive more money now. I love that my wealth consciousness is expanding now. I love that money is flowing in my life now. Okay, we're going to wrap it up there. Take a breath, let it out. I just ask one thing, two things. One, that you take action on something that I mentioned today to just make progress and advance your journey toward building wealth and building something significant. Build something amazing, build something incredible, and never underestimate your ability to build that. Number two, if you found this valuable, like and subscribe. Comment below, let me know how valuable this was for you and what you're going to do moving forward. Commit to something and comment in the comments below to let me know what that is, because it will help you and it will help the algorithm to get this out to more people. So I love you loads. I will see you in a couple of days. Wealth is entirely possible for you to be able to achieve it. It is something that you need to achieve. Go out, go forth, offer value to the world, and create a wealth empire that makes a contribution and makes a difference. I know you can. I know you want to. I love you loads. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.